Some people get mad at something's happening to other people that they don't like. And we understand that. If there's somebody you don't like and something good happens to them, somewhere inside of us, we like, man, I don't know why something good got to happen to that person. It's one of those cases here. Now, we've beat the dead horse that's called Mr. Morelli before about his viewpoints about certain individuals. Well, a more recent situation popped up that has him a little bit perturbed, if you will. just a wee bit perturbed. Now, recently there was some information coming forward. Y'all might have heard the name Kristina Khorram. Kristina Khorram was one of Diddy's assistants, and she was named in quite a few as the handler. That's what we were told. She was the handler for Diddy, and she was the one that managed everything. And if there was ever any children or anything like that traffic, it would have been through Miss Khorram. Well, good or bad news, the news came out that 6 out of 7 of the people that brought lawsuits against her for sexual misconduct dropped their cases. By the way, not coerced, dropped. They decided on their own reconnaissance to drop the charges. Them, not their lawyers, them. So with that footwork being done for you and that groundwork being put down, we're going to hear Mr. Morelli's reaction to that news. Just wanted to put it out there that this did happen. So listen to his reasons as to why he's upset about it.
Legal updates, guys, have come in today in regards to a major P. Diddy lawsuit. So we have to get into this brand new information. Hey guys, it's Murad Merali, daily and consistent content. Let's get straight into this video. Do subscribe to the channel. It's just one click, guys. Join Murad Nation and let's get into this video.
What is it with him? Just a side note, real quick. Just, I'm sorry, it might sound nitpicky. Y'all might say it's petty. I don't think it's petty. What is up between him and Tisa? They gotta have like the cleavage thing. What's up with that? What's up with that? I just noticed certain things that they jump out. They jump out at. I can't help it. They jump out. I'm just trying to figure. Is it like a new rule to try and bring people's attention to the video? I don't know. I'm not saying there's anything to watch. I'm just saying I'm wondering why use it. Okay, we continue.
We are having a heat wave in London, guys. It is so hot over here. But anyway,
that's why. He's nellying now. It's getting hot in here, so I'm sorry. I feel childish today. Okay, I do. I feel real petty and childish today. More so because I'm trying to laugh past this, because if I don't, I might get mad again. I don't want to get mad. Mad gets you. Mad is bad. Okay, laughing is better.
Let's get into this, where Diddy's former assistant, guys, Kristina Khorram, is what this lawsuit involves. And she basically, guys, has taken a massive legal win in New York after 6 of the 7 plaintiffs have mysteriously in the lawsuit dropped their claims immediately.
Mysteriously? I understand that certain words need to be used in order to kind of, make things more than they really are. But really, is it mysterious, or could it possibly be that the reason they had their lawsuits to begin with was because everybody else was suing, and because Diddy didn't get some time, they realized this ain't gonna go nowhere anyway, and they drop it? Is it mysterious? The question is, was it even legit to begin with? And when they realized no one else is gonna get that, I'm definitely not gonna get it now, so drop the lawsuit. Could be. I'm just saying. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying there are options outside of mysterious.
Diddy's ex-assistant Kristina came away with a major legal win in New York after 6 of 7 plaintiffs dropped their claims against her in a sweeping SA lawsuit tied to Diddy. Latasha Forbes, Billy Cummings, Ian Ferron, Amar Jenkins, LaQuay Applewhite, and a Jane Doe all voluntarily withdrew their allegations against the disgraced music mogul suddenly. The move followed Khorram's legal team submitting evidence that she did not begin working for Diddy until 2013, well after most of the alleged incidents reportedly occurred.
Oh, so okay. Let me get this right. It's mysterious, but you're reading the reasons why they would have to withdraw, because it was they're proving, this is what you said, they proved that she didn't get there till after the allegations, so it couldn't have been her. That doesn't seem mysterious. That sounds logical. That sounds like, hey, it makes sense. If I wasn't there, how would I have done it? You see the point here? So is that a mystery? I don't think that's a mystery.
Based on the timeline, she would have been younger than 10 years old in some of the reported instances.
Oh, so hey, maybe, hey, I know what it was. It was Diddy, and Diddy had kids doing this stuff, including Miss Khorram, because she was 10, you remember? And from all we've heard, Diddy was all over having kids everywhere in the parties. And what he did was he recruited Miss Khorram at 10 years old to help him traffic. No, no, nah, okay. I tried. I tried to be like them. I don't even believe myself. If I was telling the truth like that, I'd say I was lying too. Anyway, continue.
Wow. In the original lawsuit, Forbes alleged she was 17 in 1994 when Diddy drugged and R-worded her at Bad Boy's Manhattan office. Cummings said she was between 14 and 15 in 1995 when someone assaulted her, and Fearon claimed that he was forced into an act with Diddy. Applewhite accused Diddy of groping and assaulting her at a Miami property, and Jenkins said that he was attacked at a Florida launch party. Jane Doe said that she was drugged and R-worded. The plaintiffs named Khorram in the lawsuit for allegedly helping to cover up Diddy's misconduct. The complainant also targeted Sony, Universal, and Warner Music.
How are they? Okay. Hear me out. Maybe, just a thought. The people bringing the plaintiffs overshot. The places they named so far wouldn't have included these particular entities that they included in the lawsuit. Maybe what they were seeing is that, hey, maybe we asking for too much going after the people that didn't actually have a hand in this. And hey, if this is just me now, again, I'm not the legal mind. I'm just thinking from a layman's term. If I were the prosecution, hear me out. If I were the prosecution for Diddy, and I know there are cases out there with minors making lawsuits, and the going idea is that Diddy did indeed traffic in children. Wouldn't it behoove me to look into that case too, and maybe, just maybe, cross-reference to see if that child actually did have interaction with Diddy and bring that? Remember, they were marring his character, sexual deviant, all that stuff, beater. Why not bring in too, as a character that destroyer? He also flippity flabbity floop with kids. I wonder why they wouldn't have done that. Let's think about this for a minute. Why wouldn't they? Reason number one, it didn't happen. Reason number two, it didn't happen. Or reason number three, it didn't happen. Or no, fourth one, the prosecution don't know what the damn they're doing.
Claiming the labels ignored red flags and enabled him. Khorram vehemently denied everything way back in March by basically stating the idea that I could be accused of playing a role in this is unthinkable. With 6 plaintiffs now out, only one person's allegation stands, and that person's name is Fallon Matthews. She claimed Diddy assaulted her in Illinois in 2014 after a night out of heavy drinking.
Okay, let me get this right. He assaulted her after a night out of heavy drinking. Okay, I want to make sure I get the sequencing right. Okay, continue.
Kristina Khorram's lawyers have now filed a motion today, to dismiss Matthews' complaint, arguing that the laws cited don't apply retroactively. Moreover, they argue that the case falls outside the statute of limitations and don't cover incidents beyond New York City. When they try to find loopholes, talking about statute of limitations,
that's not a loophole. Hold on. You know what? I'm gonna let you continue, but I will back it up because we got to back. In fact, go ahead.
Then retroactive acts. Therefore, this lawsuit must be tossed out in my name, and you can't be suing me because you basically sued me too late, and the time frame and the window has basically been expired. That basically tells me that you did that shit.
That's what it tells you? It tells me that they know the law. Did you know that they actually have the inverse happen as well, where people tell you that statutes of limitations are expired in certain locations and they still take the lawsuit to a different state and it goes through with the statute of limitations. You know that happens too, right? So would you call that a stretch? No, you would call that justice, right? So when these people are bringing to you not loopholes, these because a loophole would be finding something that nobody saw. They're using pretty upfront standard for what? Okay, so here's a loophole. This would be a loophole. If you look on page 5 of this statute, you will see that if it happened on a full moon on January 5th on the corner of 3rd and Vine, and a man in a blue hat was passing by, this doesn't apply. It's right there in the fine print. That would be a loophole. Now, if it says the time to report this is A to B, and you are applying at point D, you can't do that because it's only between point A and B. You fall outside of that, it's no longer a valid lawsuit. That's not a loophole. That's the law. I don't get it. I really don't. I really don't. I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss right now as to how this logic does not apply. It's not a loophole, Murad. It's not. And trust me, it's not a loophole. That's just how the law. But for you to assume that because they're using the law, that they're guilty, wow, it's quite the stretch.
You might not go down legally, but you're going to go down in my eyes. But if you're trying to say that the only persons, I can't even speak today. What is wrong with me?
I can tell you what's wrong with you. I can tell you, look, I'm not a psychologist, but I do know what's wrong with you. Well, let me fix my collar, get myself ready to be a psychologist. Oh, let me do the, I know people going to come and say, this is the Illuminati. I'm going to do, let me tell you what's wrong, Mr. Murad. You have hate in your heart. And the amount of hate in your heart is causing you not to think logically. What we need to do is to calm down and get rid of that hate. That hate is going to lead you down a very bad path. And that path will lead you to dysfunction, sir. That's what's wrong with you. That's why you can't talk. You can't talk because not even your body's in agreement with the lying that you're trying to do. Too much hate, man. You got to get rid of that, bro. You got to let that go. Not everything that happens with Diddy's case needs to be a absolute horrific thing. Sometimes it could just be based on law, man. That's just the way it is. Wow.
Only person's allegations that are standing, you're saying that they must be dismissed because they basically tried to sue me too late.
That's not basically, it is. And the window is closed. That happens all the time. Tons of people wait too long to do what they need to do. That applies to everything too, including bills. It's weird. Like with bills, like say for instance, I get my phone bill and my phone bill says you have till this point to pay, the 10th. And I see the bill, I have the money on the 9th and I say, you know what? I got time. And I go about my day and then the 10th reaches and I say, okay, 5 o'clock is a cutoff time anyway. Okay, I got till 5 o'clock. And then I go about my day and I do my thing and I do my thing. And then I go home and I fall asleep and I wake up on the 11th and my phone is disconnected. Do I call the company and say, how dare you cut my phone? But we told you on the 10th and the cutoff date. Forget the cutoff. Y'all are guilty of stealing my internet and my phone service. Are we? Or we just told you that this is the cutoff time and anything past that point, we're going to have to cut service. It happens with everything, Murad. It's not everything is open-ended, buddy. Sometimes you're too late. You're mad at them for pointing out something might be too late. Is it a good thing that it's too late? No, but it is the law. Here's who you get mad at. Get mad at legislators who decide that that's the cutoff time. Start there.
Window's been expired. Haha. That's basically what you're implying with statute of limitations, which implies to me that Kristina Khorram is guilty.
Quite the man. Wow. I just, if the law worked like that, my goodness, look out. If that's how law actually worked, Imagine if people handle the law like Murad wanted to handle the law. I don't care what that says. What I feel is what matters more than anything else. Can you imagine him being a jury member? Holy cow. He won't even listen to the stuff that's presented. It'd be feelings. He would already make his mind up from the instant he found out who the person was, and whatever it made him feel like, he'd already make his mind up. He'd be a horrible jury member.
Yes, I do believe that there are going to be some people with fake allegations talking about how she was doing things when she was legally 10 to 15 years old. Wouldn't make any sense.
So how do you know this person's telling the truth? You are now admitting that people can fabricate stuff. So how do you know? You just believe this other person?
Kristina didn't work for Diddy when she was a minor. Like, that makes no sense. But I do believe this woman is a witch, her association to Diddy. And I also find the fact that 6 out of the 7 plaintiffs have mysteriously dropped their claims out of nowhere. To me,
it's not out of no. I know I was saying I was going to laugh a lot, and I'm not doing that. I should be laughing more, but I'm not. Why? Because this is angering. Like, I cannot laugh at this point. This is not something that's laughable. I'm baffled. Do they want the law to handle situations, or do they want emotions to handle situations? They'll get mad at the lawyers for using the law, then they'll get mad at the plaintiffs for filing too late, then they get mad at the person being prosecuted for giving themselves a chance. They get mad at everything. Everything is an anger point for these people.
Me feels like somebody's gone behind the back door, offered them some money to say, listen, withdraw your allegations against me or against Diddy, please do so, and we can forget this and make this all go away. And that's exactly what I feel like has taken place. But
so who do you blame? Hear me out. If the person's allegation was viable, who's to blame? If I was a minor, my family should be involved in this, by the way, because I was a child when this happened. So I was a child, and my parents know that I was a child when this happened. And then my abuser comes to me and says, I'll pay you off if you just drop this. Now, the world doesn't like my abuser. The world already knows that my abuser should be in jail for more. I want justice. You're telling me I'm viable now? Okay.
The only person that's standing is Final Matthews, and what they're saying to the last person standing who might not be able to take this money is, you can't sue me because you did this too late.
He might not be able to take the money. So you would advise him to take the money then? How would you not be able to take the money? I mean, he may not want to take the money because he knows that he has a case. But if the case is no longer able to be brought forward, at least in this approach, he can't get it. Are there multiple approaches he could take? I have no doubt. Usually, if one thing has a statute of limitation, there's usually something else he can use along the same lines that won't have a statute of limitations, or at least an extended statute of limitation. Here's my thing. If the person is legit about this accusation, and it did happen, they're going to come back with a different approach to this lawsuit. I'm telling you now, if it gets dismissed on the grounds of limitations, they'll find another way to come back with it. If it's legit.
Because of statute of limitations, because of location issues, jurisdiction issues. That is the reason why. When you're playing that card to me, it definitely implies that you are guilty.
You can't be guilty of something if you're bringing up valid concerns, bro. If something took place in a certain state, the state guidelines are what dictates that, not bribery. It's applied right there. You can go back in time and look for it. How are people that... Wow. This can't be real. This really can't be real. Get mad at legislators for making such things with such a short window. Get mad at them. You getting mad at people who did not make these rules, see the rules, and understand the rules, which you obviously don't. Chalk that up to more things you don't understand, and are getting mad at the people who are being called as something using the rules that exist. You're getting mad at them? You. These people have platforms. These people have platforms. People listen to this guy on purpose, intentionally, often.
You are the reason for why this person is suing XYZ, and you're trying to find a quick exit. They also say the filings failed to meet the legal threshold for a claim. If the court grants the motion, she will be entirely removed from this case. Elsewhere, Diddy is trying to find additional success in the legal world. His team recently confirmed that they've reached out to Trump, and as we know about that, we don't need to go into that. And his sentencing will be on October the 3rd. So yes, every single day, guys, there seems to be new lawsuits or new updates to legal lawsuits, even after the P. Diddy's trial and even before his sentencing.
That doesn't raise a red flag to you to maybe just maybe that all the lawsuits that came forward were prepped and planned accordingly in order to drop right at the same time to enhance the look of guilt for Diddy. But when it didn't work, they had to go away because they didn't have ground. Listen, if these lawsuits had basis, they wouldn't go away. You just said this wasn't even a Kristina Khorram. This was the judges that said this. The courts did this. So now, okay, so you're talking about they went behind the back and paid the plaintiffs. Then they paid the courts. And the courts, in turn, changed the law to change the statute of limitation. All that money got paid to people in order to make sure that Kristina got off. Wow, man. You should write murder mysteries. You should. I think you should change your whole platform and go into writing some of them. Look, you could be the next, what was that movie? M. Night Shyamalan, whatever his name was, how he writes movies with all kinds of twists, and you could be that next guy. Y'all are akin in some way, shape, and form, right? In terms of race, at least. You might make bank, man. I'm telling you, you're good at it. You're good at it.
So I think that this was very important to cover because we've been discussing Auntie Kristina for a very long time. And it looks like in this case, she's actually experiencing a big win. 6 people who have accused her have dropped out and said that, you know what, she didn't do XYZ to me. But the last person, he's not budging. He's still standing on that case. And I commend him to do so because it's not easy when the peers that have come with to join a lawsuit against somebody have all suddenly dropped out. It very much is given. Some of them is, fake with the timeline, and some of them are accepting the money or coin or bribery that I feel is going on behind the scenes, and this particular person is refusing to do so. And
he feels a lot. You ever realize when they come with these things, they always come with a feeling? There's no track record, just a feeling. Where did the feeling come from? I hate Diddy. That's the only feeling. Why would you think that they got, I hate Diddy? Okay, but why would you? Because I hate him. He's a stinking so-and-so, dirty, nasty, stinky, dirty, stinky, evil, stinky. But what? I hate him. Okay, so but the law says that this is hate Diddy. That's all they go on. But sir, please calm down. The statutes that are on the books long before Diddy was born says this isn't. How is it Diddy's fault? Hate him. Was it Rick James? Cocaine's a hell of a drug. No, was it? Yeah, it was. This would be hate. Hate is a hell of a drug.
what does Kristina say? Well, you did this way too late. You're in the wrong jurisdiction. You're in the wrong location. Therefore, this lawsuit cannot be applied. Therefore, it must be dismissed. Trying to find any kind of wormhole for you to basically slither your way through to get yourself completely out of this whole scenario situation.
I'm going to replay this again. And I want you to listen and you tell me if this sounds like a wormy, slithering way out of a case. Okay, listen.
Completely out of this whole scenario your way through to get yourself completely
Let me see if I can find this.
location. Therefore, this
There it is.
lawsuit
Okay,
cannot
here we
is
go.
going on behind the scenes, and this particular person is refusing to do so. And what does Christina say? Well, you did this way too late. You're in the wrong jurisdiction. You're in the wrong location. Therefore, this lawsuit cannot be applied. Therefore, it must be dismissed. Trying to find any kind of wormhole for you to basically slither your way through to get yourself completely out of this whole scenario situation.
Those are legit. Say, for instance, you say it took place in Nebraska, and I was not in Nebraska. I was in New York. You see, there's a problem here, right? There are two different places. Yeah, they're two different places. And you bring a lawsuit to me in New York about something that took place in Nebraska. Well, sir, you're in the wrong jurisdiction. The event happened somewhere else. You got to file it there in Nebraska. Then you got to prove that I was in Nebraska for this to even matter. So you see that jurisdiction does indeed matter with every case. That's, again, I'm not the legal expert here. I'm the dummy when it comes to legal stuff. And I will bet you money that Corey will agree with me that jurisdiction is a pretty big damn deal when it comes to filing a case. If you file in the wrong jurisdiction, it's going to get automatically kicked out because it's a stupid thing to do. That's not where it happened. The rules don't apply that would apply where it happened. That's only logical. How is that a loophole or being slimy? I would say that might be moronic on the person filing to not think this through, that maybe, just maybe, jurisdiction has a point to play here.
Instead of you actually combating it with hardcore evidence.
That's evidence. Because if it's not applying to the place that it's supposed to be, that is evidentiary stuff. It's evident that it wasn't me. It's evident that what you're doing doesn't apply because the statutes that you're trying to use does not apply here. What more does anybody have to do?
What you're combating it with is jurisdiction issues. That to me just reeks of you being somebody who is guilty.
I'm leaving it.
From this lawsuit, that's what it looks like to me. So I wanted to break this down, guys, when it comes to Kristina. I think that this was definitely a big drop that happened today. Major for her. Obviously, I'm sure that she's feeling very happy. She obviously was hiring lawyers back to back continuously, and now we know why. To basically get her out of this, I feel like she is following the P. Diddy strategy, which is basically build an Avengers of lawyers that can basically tackle this from every single corner, so that the particular individual who's come forward with the lawsuit just feels isolated. And now this person is going to feel the pressure. If everybody else is gone, let me go too. Let me drop off the lawsuit too.
I'm going to bring an example to the table. Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein, when he had his arrest back in 2005 and his subsequent hearing in 06, he had an amazing team of lawyers. Now, the lawyers did what their job was, which was to defend their client. Whether we believe Jeffrey Epstein was the most sadistically evil, vile human being on the face of the earth, yes, but he hired people to defend his case. They're supposed to do a certain job. What's that job? Defend their case. So they went ahead and defended Jeffrey and got him quite the deal. Are you trying to suggest to me that a person that is going through trial should not try to get the best lawyer they can and the most favorable position they can? They should just kowtow to the charges that are brought to them? Is that what you're trying to convince me? I didn't know that's how law worked. Anyway,
That's basically what this is giving to me. And I hope that this person does not do this, because Kristina needs to see her days. Do you understand? That woman needs to see her days. She already is facing another lawsuit, the Lil Rodney Jones lawsuit, that is going to begin 2 weeks after P. Diddy sentencing. So she's not out of the woods yet, but she's trying to worm her way out of each lawsuit one by one by one.
Methodically. I commend her for this. I don't agree with all her lifestyle because I don't know. However, best way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time. You don't try to take the whole elephant down. And so what she's doing is what you call mythology. So she's using everything by just, you're mad at her because the lawsuits that were brought against her had no validity. Or two, she was able to find, as you would call them, loopholes to get them thrown out. Maybe the lawyers of the other person should have made sure to close those loopholes or check to see if there was even validity in their claim where they were filing it. That's the lawyer's job. And again, I'm just crazy though.
And that's what Diddy's going to be doing over the next couple of months with these 70 civil lawsuits. Some of them are going to be dismissed. Some of them, are going to be settled. Some of them are still going to be active. None of them criminal, but all civil. And that we also have to go through militantly when all of that comes out one by one by one. We haven't had much updates, guys, when it comes to Jay-Z and Ramir and that case. As of right now, I believe Ramir has not picked it up again or tried to come for Jay-Z. So I feel like as of right now, Jay-Z is just going to be wasting money in regards to fees because the judge blocked him from Ramir paying it, and he's just going to take his dues and just keep it moving. I think that's what he's going to do, in my opinion. I don't think that Ramir is going to refile again. He said that certain things were against him and people were following him or something like that. Somebody was saying on YouTube in regards to his family or his godmother in regards to what they experienced. And so this is a fight for him. And I just don't see him, after dropping it, refiling again.
He won't have the same energy for Amir. Anyway, but let's talk about this whole Diddy situation, since it seems he's done talking about it, and the situation with Miss Khorram. As much as it pains us to see certain people not be brought to a certain type of justice, please remember and let Diddy's case be a very good case study for you. Just because what we're told doesn't pan out to be true doesn't mean that the two things aren't also still true at the same time. They could still be a bad person, but they could also have very good lawyers. The other side to the equation is that the person bringing the charges are doing so out of a position, like Merali, of hate. So they don't cross their T's and dot their I's. They just run headlong thinking just the insanity of the charges will be enough to carry them through. You do actual victims an injustice, which is why we tell you all that hyper doing anything and just going all the time does not help. It especially doesn't help real victims. Why? Because when you over sensationalize and overshoot your goal, you end up making the bad guy look good. You end up costing real victims cases. Social media has made a mockery of law. You got people like this who don't know law at all, talking out of both sides of their mouth and other orifices with no knowledge. So what happens then? You have actual victims who are afraid to come forward because they'll hear nonsense like this. They will not pursue real change, real options, real avenues. They'll just take that and say, well, that's it. That's the dangers of people like him, Tisa, and quite a few others. They do not take into consideration factual things, and they cannot in turn give victims any true way to operate. They're too intense on the hate for the person that they're looking at to logically think things through. Fact is, 6 were dropped and 1 is pending because of jurisdiction, and that is a legal footing, whether you like it or not. Now it's on the person filing to file correctly. It's that simple. Anyway, what are your thoughts on this one? Let me know if it makes any sense to you. Maybe, just maybe, we are not thinking this one through critically, or we nail it on the head. We'll wait to find out from you what you think. In the meantime, and in between time, please take a moment to like, share, comment, and subscribe. We'll catch you on the next one.